Welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to make a dessert which is perfect for Christmas. Vegan key lime pie. Now, if you're from where I'm from, you might be thinking cherry pie, apple pie, sweet potato pie. Those are all Christmas pies, and key lime pie is not a Christmas pie. But I've lived in South Florida now for 15 years, and I assure you, it's a thing. And it's delicious, so let's do it. If you want to follow along with the recipe, I will leave a link in the description below as usual. Before we get started, there are some things that you're gonna need which may or may not be so easy for you to find, so let's talk about it. First, I'm using a 9-inch tart pan with a removable bottom. You could also use a springform pan if you want. A pie pan, regular pie pan would also work. It's just gonna be a little harder to get the pie out of the pan. Second, we're gonna make a graham cracker crust, which is obviously going to require graham crackers. Now, I have not been able to find vegan graham crackers in the store. All the ones I've seen either have honey or milk or both. If you're able to find them in the store, awesome. But I am going to use my homemade vegan graham crackers, and I will leave a link to that recipe in the description below. Don't stress about it. They're quick and easy, I promise. Third, for key lime pie, we are obviously going to need key lime juice. So I am using a local brand called Nelly and Joe's, and I'll put a link to their store locator in the description below so that you can see what stores might carry it locally in your area. If you can't get it locally, you can get it on Amazon, so I'll put that link down there as well. Finally, I am using the Let's Do Organic brand of sweetened condensed coconut milk. The brand is critical here because all the other brands that I've seen have about twice as much sugar as this brand, so if you use a different brand, I don't know what you're gonna come up with. So I strongly recommend that you get the Let's Do Organic brand. It is available, at least here it's available in most of the supermarkets. I'll also put a link below where you can order it on Amazon if you really can't get it anywhere else. If none of those are an option for you and you really have to choose a different brand, I do have some suggestions in the blog post above my recipe for how you can incorporate some of the other brands. So check that out if you need to. Alright, so with all that out of the way, let's get on to the pie. We're gonna start with the crust, so I'm gonna preheat my oven to 375 degrees. Then I'm gonna take some graham crackers and blend them up until I have a nice fine crumb. We wanna end up with about 190 grams or 1.5 cups of crumbs. So if you have a scale, it's probably better to weigh the crackers before you blend them because crackers can be different sizes. So once I have my crumbs, I'm just gonna add 2 tablespoons of brown sugar to that. And I'm also going to melt 67 grams of vegan butter on the stove. That's a little more than half the stick. If you want to be more precise, it's 4 tablespoons, 2 teaspoons. Then I'm just going to take that melted butter and mix it into my crumbs until everything is moist. Now I'm going to pour all of that into my tart pan, and I'm going to use a glass with a flat bottom to press the crust into the pan. This is going to push some of the crumbs up the sides, so I'll just use my fingers to press those into the sides as well. Once everything is all pressed and even, then I'm going to put it on a baking tray and pop it in the oven for about 10 minutes. And then I'll put it on a wire rack to cool. At this point, we are done with the oven, so you can turn it off. Now let's start on the filling. I have a medium saucepan over on the stove, and before I turn on the heat, I'm gonna add in 3 cans of Let's Do Organic sweetened condensed coconut milk, 3/4 of a cup of unsweetened Greek non-dairy yogurt, I'm using Kite Hill, and 1/2 cup plus 1 tablespoon of key lime juice. I'm gonna mix that up well, and then I will add a pinch of turmeric for color. The turmeric is not going to look like much at first, but as you heat the filling, the color will develop, so don't go overboard with the turmeric. And finally, I'm going to slowly sift in 1/4 cup of cornstarch, stirring as I go. Skip the sifting at your own risk because once there's clumps in there, it is hard to break them up. Now that everything is well combined, I am going to turn the heat on to medium and let it come to a slow boil. I'm going to keep stirring this the entire time. So it should take about 8 to 10 minutes to start to boil. Once it's reached that slow boil, I'm going to let it cook for about a minute longer until it's just starting to thicken. Be careful that you don't let it get too thick because we do want to keep some creaminess to the filling. Alright, so all of this is now going to go into my prepared crust. If you ended up with any lumps from either the cornstarch or the bottom of the pan, just pass it through a metal sieve to filter them out. And I'm going to use an icing spatula to get the top nice and smooth. And we're basically done. I'm just going to let it cool off at room temperature for about half an hour, and then I'll put it in the refrigerator to set. And after about 3 hours in the fridge, your pie is ready. Alright, well my pie is all set, so all that's left to do is top it. So I'm going to start with some vegan whipped cream. This is the 365 brand from Whole Foods, and I have it in a piping bag with a large round tip. So I'm just going to go around the edges, putting little dollops of whipped cream on top. And then for a little bit of extra garnish, I just have some regular limes. Even though I'm in South Florida, we don't have key limes in the grocery store, so I'm just going to make do with the regular limes. I have some really thin slices of limes that are cut in half, and I'm just going to lay these at the intersection of every other dollop of whipped cream. And then finally, I have another lime that I'm going to zest just to sprinkle on top of the pie. The great thing about this vegan version is that it is so authentic. It tastes just like the original. It is simple, it's creamy, and it's delicious. That's all for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. I do still have a couple more vegan Christmas recipes coming up. So if you're not already subscribed and you want to catch those, hit subscribe below, and I'll see you there. Bye. So don't go overboard. Welcome back. Today we are going to make some authentic key lime pie. Yeah. All right.